Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessings be multiplied on all your brethren teaching His word in all sincerity and truth. To the hopeful elect out there, shalom. It's the brother Dama Agabar here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify and give you warning from Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. And you see, I was reading this article here, which has some pretty good information in it. And as I read it, it made me think of particular scriptures. And it's these people who do this thing called remote viewing. It's like this military, training that they get where particular individuals, they'll be given random numbers and they'll be blindfolded. And it's kind of like some type of psychic, remote viewing where they'll ask them questions about future events. And a lot of these guys have been militarily trained to ultimately, try to look, they'll get certain numbers and messages and they'll try to predict what those numbers and messages mean. And I guess they're all in individual spaces. They're not all in the same area. But I guess a lot of these, it's just kind of like, Esau's version of, prophets, looking into the future to try to get particular information of what's going to happen in the future. And these particular remote viewers, they saw some interesting things, which can be filtered through the scriptures, And this is just what I got from it. I'm sure other brothers saw this information. They would, pull different scriptures, but this is what I got out of it. But, it was just showing you that we're in a time where biblical prophecy is about to be fulfilled, which ultimately the true prophets, the men of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, the Israelites, were the ones who are the true visionaries and the true prophets. I'm just taking their information of what these remote viewers saw and filtering it through the scriptures, which, these events that they saw are very, things that we've been prophesying and saying was going to happen for some time. And the Lord is just using these individuals to see what we have been prophesying through the word for many years now. And I'm going to show you this. I'm going to read the main point of it. I'm going to show you what they say these things are. And drop these couple of precepts, It says, let me see, read a little bit of this. It says, the counterculture is now aware of false flags, operations that are executed by the powers that be and blamed on someone else are now being called out in real time on social media platforms despite the censorship, and it's becoming popular. And if the powers that be can no longer trick us, then they will try and hurt us. It says, according to scientific data, nearly all humans have a certain degree of psychic awareness, which ultimately is the Most High can give men and women, visions and, visions and to see particular things that you would bring to the seers and to the prophets, and they would interpret those dreams and those visions, like Daniel did for the king of Babylon. You had Balaam and Balak, and now you have the prophets and the men of the Lord that are on the scene, and we're able to take these different visions and things that these people see, and we can interpret it and filter it through biblical prophecy. All right. And this is another case to where, we could, link these things to prophecy. It says, and some of us become acutely aware of it. The term remote viewing was coined by the U.S. Department of Defense when they began training people in this field. It is an art of viewing an unknown target at any distance within the mind's eye and retrieving accurate data. To refine this data, remote viewers work together as a team and look for the redundant data. Remote viewing teams such as the Future Forecasting Group work with a double-blind protocol. This means that they do not know where or what the target is. The information they are giving is arbitrarily designated numbers such as A915Q7K4, and they blindly view the target in a meditative state of focus. Imagery is flashed in the mind and immediately sketched out and collected, you see? And this is ultimately the Most High is, putting these different visions in these individuals' mind, to show them particular events that are supposed to have in the future. Now, the Lord has given these men, These different visions now is for us, the seers and the prophets, to interpret them and filter them through prophecy. All right. Let's see if I can get this. So Joel 3. I know it's in Joel. I'm trying to think of how to search this. Put my spirit. All flesh. Let me see if this is it. Here we go. This is Acts chapter 2, verse 17. It says, "And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith the Most High, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams." You see? And the situation with these remote viewers is the same type of scenario. You know, they're seeing these different events and all of these things, but this is ultimately the Lord putting the spirit on these men and these and this future forecasting group to see particular things that we can see and filter through prophecy, man. All right. It says, as they blindly view the target in a meditative state of focus, imagery is flashed in the mind and immediately sketched out and collected. The future forecasting group has been successful at predicting the Panama Canal incident, the destruction at the Kakhovka Dam in Ukraine, the Halloween stampede in South Korea, police violence at the Canadian trucker protest, and many others, which can all be found at the futureforecastinggroup.com. And here's the point of this. It says the Future Forecasting Group was recently assigned the target of the next financial crisis. Because of their double-blind protocol, the only information they were given was an arbitrary number. And I'm just going to show you what they viewed, and I'm going to filter it through prophecy. It says, but the viewers were all distracted by overpowering images of a catastrophic event. They all saw the same thing: massive explosions with multiple points of impact, small particles and debris falling from the sky, people sick with cesium, which is the most dangerous of all radioactive isotopes used in dirty bomb scenarios. You see? Now, what is one of the things that they could have seen? It was the ultimate destruction of Babylon the Great, man. You know? They saw, ultimately they saw the destruction of America, man. You see, they saw all of these bombs exploding and different points of impact, man. Now, it could be, a dirty bomb scenario. It could be, they're gonna set off a pocket nuke, but I don't really believe that they would do that in the situation. But what I'm seeing from this at the end times is they saw the nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great, man. All right, let me get this. Let me see. Let's get this. The Revelations. Let me see. Is that what I want? No. Burn her with fire. This is Revelation 17:16. It says, "In the 10 whores which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." Who is the whore? America, Babylon the Great. You see? And who is the beast? Is the NATO and the EU. It says, "These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and shall burn her with fire." You see? And this is one of the things that these remote viewers saw. They saw massive explosions with multiple points of impact, small particles and debris falling from the sky, people sick with cesium, which is the most dangerous of all radioactive isotopes used in dirty bomb scenarios. You see? So I see that they saw ultimately the destruction of America and people around the world being sick after the aftermath of the nuclear destruction. And it says, I think it's kind of going in a backwards order, because we know ultimately the nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great, America, and various places around the world is going to be the final judgment, But before that, it says what? They saw police checkpoints, people sheltering underground, and an exodus of saddened-looking people. You see, they saw those police checkpoints. It says here what? This is 2 Ezra 15 and 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And we see right now America is being bombarded with a bunch of illegal immigrants all throughout the border, each and every day. And we know a lot of those people coming across the border, there are people from China, people from India, people from Africa, probably individuals from the Middle East, all military-age individuals coming into this country. For what? A mass migration. I forgot the term they use. It's like a migration replacement situation that has been planned by the EU and NATO and this World Economic Forum. And I believe that's how a lot of this craziness is going to pop off here in this country, man. It's going to be so crazy and so off the chain, especially when the dollar collapses. You're going to have all of these immigrants here. You're going to have all these American citizens here pissed off. A lot of these immigrants are going to be trying to bogart and rush the average everyday American citizen here to establish themselves. They're going to be running up in people's houses, trying to take what you have and claim it for themselves, especially when all hell breaks loose. They're building all of these refugee camps. It's kind of going to be like the movie The Children of Men. When you watch that movie, you see they had a huge Fuji refugee camps, man. When it was bringing in all those migrants by the thousands and thousands, man. They had checkpoints. They had their own little city and town where it was just filth. And, you had a lot of terrorists attacked. You had militia groups. You just had all type of chaos breaking loose in the streets of London when you watch that movie, The Children of Men. And they're doing the same thing here in America right now. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, you see. And what did it say it saw here? They saw police checkpoints, people seeking shelter underground, and an exodus of saddened-looking people. You see, and these are all things that's going to lead up ultimately to the destruction of Babylon the Great. And it says an exodus of saddened-looking people. I see that as these elites ultimately being taken out of power, man, and being destroyed. Let me get this real quick. Was that Isaiah the 16th chapter? It says people seeking shelter underground. I see that. When I heard that, it made me think of the elites, man. And us grabbing these devils up after all is said and done. What was that 16 or 18? Let's see. Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 16, it says, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahweh, and they shall fish them. And who's the fishers? The prophets, the men of the Lord. We're out here fishing for the elect via this word. And then after, I shall send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. You see, we're going to go around gathering up these these elites out of their bunkers after the nuclear destruction, all of their hideouts, whether it's underground, underwater, and their space stations. We're going to literally grab up these devils and we're going to lead them into captivity. And a lot of them are going to be sad. A lot of them are going to have their head down. A lot of them are going to be bound to go into the slavery, man. It says, for my eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from my eyes. Talking about these elites, the kings of the earth. He's super rich, They're not going to escape. Their judgment is going to come upon them. It says, and first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. O Yahweh, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profits. You see? And this is something that these elites are going to have to come to the conclusion of when all is said and done. When their new world order fails, when their plans turn to shit, and their counsel by the Heavenly Father is brought to naught, hey, they're going to be given into our hands. When you read Psalms 147 chapter, we're going to execute the judgment that is written. We're going to have the two-edged sword in our hand to execute punishment upon, the kings of the earth, man. It says, shall a man make gods unto himself that are no gods? Therefore, behold, I will this once cause them to know. I will cause them to know my hand and my might, and they shall know that my name is Yahweh. And let me get one more. Let me see. Is that 2nd Ezra 16? No, it was 14, I think. No, it's not it. Here we go. This is the part where it said it saw people saddened out of an Exodus. And this was after Yahushua does what he does. It says, afterward saw I the same man come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad and some were sorry. And some of them were bound, you see. And that's going to be these elect. That's going to be making the sad exodus out of the bunkers, out of the caves, and going directly into slavery, man. It says, and other some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awakened and said, and then he goes into, after the dream was revealed unto Ezra, this is, something that I got out of seeing this little clip, and these remote viewers ultimately saw the end of Esau's rule and rulership on this planet Earth, and they saw, a lot of 2nd Ezra's, the 13th chapter. So like, was that 2nd Ezra 13? Yeah, 2nd Ezra the 13th chapter. They saw the destruction of America, and they saw these elites making their sorry exodus, into captivity and out of rulership in these last days, man. So, brothers can check this video out. If you go to InfoWars and you just go through the articles, this will pop up. It says about the multiple remote viewers, the things that they saw. And it links up with biblical prophecy, man, which is the end of Esau, Edom, and the end of this society. I'm sure brothers will read this and, pull other scriptures, but hey, this is just what I got from it. So, Lord willing, you were edified. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for putting the spirit of me to do this lesson. Until the next one, Shalom.